Meet George Jetson. His boy Elroy.
Oh my, talk about a classic there. Welcome back to GMA3. That was the open from the 1962 classic cartoon, The Jetsons, where flying cars were always a dream for the future.
But the future could be right now, or at least within the year, with the release of the Model A flying car from Alef Aeronautics. Our Monday morning quarterback here is here to lay this with us, Mike Muse. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Oh, thanks for the hand clap. I love this team.
I mean, really? Are we going to be able to fly in cars? Is that real?
Yes, it's real.
That's a fair question.
Yeah, that's a fair question. The future is now. The future is here. Looking at that clip of the Jetsons, it looks so analog, the cartoon itself, but they had such a futuristic view, and no one actually believed that flying cars would actually happen until now. A startup company called Alef, they have created the first flying car. I want to make sure we give it its proper title. It's called the Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing Vehicle. It's similar to a drone and it's similar to a helicopter in the way in which that it has a vertical takeoff. So it doesn't need much runway. It doesn't need to accelerate at a certain speed in order to take off. It can literally just go vertically up.
Literally the Jetsons.
Literally just like the Jetsons. And the cool thing about this is that it actually can flip on the side and fly sideways. And what the founder was saying, I know, that was a little bit trippy myself when I thought about that, but what the founder said was the beauty of that is that it helps protect the battery life. And so he says, because it takes so much propulsion, so much energy to get and lift off the ground, that you often may want to turn it to its side in order to use it more as an aerodynamics, almost as if it has wings to it.
That sounds like a lot.
It does. What's interesting, though, about this, too, as well, is that it can also be driven on the road. So even, DeMarco, I know you guys have leisurely activities. And so have you seen those boats in the water, but then you can run it up into the land and it has wheels? Think something like that.
The duck boat.
Yeah, like the duck boat, where you can actually drive. That's literally like the duck boat, like tours, like for bachelorette parties and bachelor parties. But it can drive on the road for up to 25 miles per hour. And the thing about this is, it comes at a wonderful price tag of $300,000.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. That's a deal. Get in now, folks. Get in early, ground floor. But listen, over 3,200 people have already pre-ordered this vehicle, and it's 100% electric.
Wow.
I'm excited for this. Y'all know I'm very pro-tech, and this one gets me going.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
So we can't ignore the headlines. I mean, the latest headlines when it comes to the FAA and flying, you're talking about plane crashes, layoffs. How would that impact the flying car market?
That's such a great question. That is something that kind of gives me pause when I think about that, because of the fact that we are seeing so much air traffic right now in the skies. So many people are flying at a really high rate. We also too see so much drone activity. So my concern, which also too should be the concern of the FAA and also too for consumers, is how much air traffic do we want to have in the skies that can cause distraction from other airplanes that are in need. If you look at the background of the Bureau that's beautifully playing behind us, you can see that there could be potential for a lot of traffic, which is why they're going to put different standards in place. They're considering like the urban air traffic control to create designated lanes in the skies.
Oh, that was my question.
So, even you and I are twinning this in order to make sure that the safety is there. They also too want to make sure, and I feel comfortable with this. This is why I'm excited for it, that they're thinking about making sure people not only have a driver's license, obviously, but they will have to go through some type of piloting school and certificate in order to be able to fly the plane. They're also going to be looking at weather conditions. I think that's going to be really important too as well. So I don't want to be too pro-tech and too excited for this. We have to make sure the guardrails are in place with this. But listen, New York City, we're talking about congestion pricing. There's a lot of traffic on the roads. The thought could be, could this help eliminate the high traffic that is on the road?
Flying cars in Manhattan, man.
Well, you wouldn't have to go through the tunnels anymore.
I guess that's a plus.
This is true. And to your point, DeMarco, they are setting the level of maximum they can fly at with the altitude. And the FAA has granted Alef, the startup company behind this prototype, the ability to test it. But right now, it's not for consumer use, only for research purposes only. And it's big enough for one person to get in as of now. I mean, I'm excited. You guys seem very pessimistic right now about
it's
it.
not that I'm not. First of all, were you driving by yourself?
I know.
But two, I mean, has anybody actually flown in one of these cars yet?
So really great question. And so we haven't seen actually a person get in and get out, but we have seen the prototype actually in its natural habitat, in the training grounds, actually take off, and hover over a truck and then land safely. So we have seen it, and it does actually look like a car, a very souped up, dope car, but yet very boxy. You can see it right there. It's a very boxy looking car. It reminds me, DeMarco, remember Boy Scouts? How we have like, the Pinewood Derby? That's exactly what it reminds me of, like those Pinewood Derby. Shout out to all the Boy Scouts out there.
Yeah, I tried to help my brother with his. I remember that very vividly.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Mike Muse, always good to see you. We'll see you next Monday.
See you next Monday.
Quarterback.
No traffic.